Type best CZ pistols. 2026 into a search bar, and you'll see the same mistake on repeat people shopping for a vibe, not a job. I'm talking to concealed carriers, home defense owners who actually practice match shooters, and first-time buyers trying to get one pistol right the first time. What's at stake is reps and confidence. Pick a gun that's miserable to carry or hard to run fast, and you'll train less, carry less, and shoot worse when it matters. CZ's current lineup makes this trickier because they're pushing true carry-focused designs with direct mount micro red dots, rolling out factory-ported compacts built to tame muzzle rise and refreshing their hammer-fired polymer line for modern optics use. Today I'm ranking the best options by how they track under speed, how they live on your belt for 8 hours, and how supported the platform is after the honeymoon phase in real life. Number 7. CZ75 SP-01. Let's start with a truth that hurts some feelings. A heavy pistol can make you shoot better faster and with less drama. CZ75 SP-01 is basically that truth in steel form. Full-size SADA classic CZ75 reliability, and it gives you an integrated 1913 rail, so it can actually live in a modern home defense setup with a light. Here's why it makes this list in 2026. When you're doing real reps, the gun doesn't care how romantic your brand loyalty is. It cares about recoil control grip stability and whether you can run clean follow-ups without the sights going on vacation. CZ even calls out the extended beaver tail improved grip geometry and checkering as part of the control package. That stuff sounds speckish until you shoot a fast string and realize the gun is staying planted, instead of bouncing around like a shopping cart with one bad wheel. The exposed truth is role mismatch. If your real life is driving, sitting, bending, and carrying all day, a full-size steel gun can feel like carrying a brick that also happens to be your hobby. But if your real life includes range time classes or a nightstand roll with a light attached, the SP-01 is one of those pistols that makes practice feel easier, which means you practice more. And that's the only cheat code that counts. Now, if you like the hammer-fired feel, but you're not trying to commit to steel gun lifestyle, the next one is CZ, basically admitting 2026 shooters want modern features without losing that classic trigger personality. Number 6. CZ P-09 Nocturn. The CZ P-09 Nocturn is for the shooter who says, "I want a hammer gun," and actually means it. CZ describes the line as SADA with the Omega trigger system, and it leans hard into modern usability, a fiberglass reinforced polymer frame, and a MIL-STD 1913 rail for lights. Here's the truth that gets exposed every time someone buys a SADA pistol and then refuses to train. The first shot is different. It's supposed to be. The P-09 Nocturn is built around hammer-fired operation, and CZ even highlights second strike capability and the ability to swap a manual safety and decocker setup depending on configuration. The gun is basically telling you, "I'll give you options, but you have to show up." And if you do show up, the whole concept makes sense. That heavier first pull can be a built-in slow down and be honest moment. Then you get into lighter, cleaner follow-up shots, where cadence starts to feel natural. The NRA's coverage of the P-09 Nocturn in the US frames it as an optics-ready duty-style pistol with modular controls and that same Omega trigger setup. That's exactly where it lands in the real world, a modern service-feeling pistol that still scratches the hammer gun itch. Trade-off time. If you want the simplest trigger life possible, you'll be happier with striker fired. If you want that hammer-fired control and you're willing to train the first shot, the Nocturn stops being a cool choice and becomes a practical one. And speaking of practicality, let's slide into the striker world with the gun that quietly fixes a lot of shooter problems. By being boring in the best way. Number 5. CZP-10F. The CZ-P10F is what you buy when you're tired of tiny gun problems. You want a full grip, a longer sight radius, and a pistol that just runs without asking you to develop a complicated relationship with it. CZ lists the P10F at 19 plus 1 capacity, and even notes 21 plus 1 with extensions. That's not a flex. That's more reps before reloads and fewer hold-on guys. I gotta stuff mags again. Moments at the range. CZ also calls out a crisp 5.5-pound trigger and frames the gun as duty-ready with a rugged polymer frame. Here's the truth. This one exposes a full-size pistol can. Make average shooters look better under pressure, because leverage is real. A bigger grip gives your hands more control. That means less wobble, less. Why did that shot go there and more predictable recoil return when you're shooting faster than your comfort zone? This is the gun for people who actually train but don't want drama. Home defense classes. High round counts even match dabbling. It's not trying to be cute, it's trying to be competent. And the trade-off is the one you already know. Concealment. If you carry it daily, you're dressing around it. If you don't carry daily, then congratulations. You just found one of the easiest CZs to run well. Now let's take that striker format. Keep it carry-sized, and add the feature that instantly starts a comment war. Number 4, CZ-P10 C-ported. Porting is one of those things. People either worship like it's magic, or hate like it. Personally insulted their mother. The CZ-P10. C-ported lands in the middle with a simple idea. Flatter shooting straight from the factory, without you having to invent a custom build, and then troubleshoot it for 6 months. CZ says the P10 C-ported uses an integrated compensator and the barrel is 10% heavier than the standard P10C barrel. That heavier barrel detail is a real-world thing you can feel, because it changes the balance and helps the gun track more predictably when you're pushing speed. CZ also calls it the most refined P10 model in their portfolio, and notes, optics-ready extended cocking serrations, and even P-09 Nocturn style sights in the mix. Here's the exposed truth. Porting doesn't turn you into a better shooter. It turns your mistakes into faster mistakes. If your grip is inconsistent, you'll see it immediately, because the gun is cycling flatter and faster. So your timing errors show up like a bright neon sign. And yes, you pay for it. Blast and flash can be more noticeable, especially in low light. That matters for a defensive gun, which is why this one sits at number 4 and not number 1. It's a performance tool. A very useful one. But it comes with responsibilities like actually testing your carry ammo and not pretending your range load is your defensive load. Now, if you want the opposite vibe of factory spice, you want classic carry comfort with earned trust. That takes us to the compact metal gun that has been winning arguments since before red dots were cool. Number 3, CZ-75P01. The CZ-75P01 is the pistol equivalent of that friend who doesn't talk much, but always shows up on time and always has a wrench in the trunk. CZ describes it as a compact aluminum-framed 9mm designed for law enforcement and military duty. And it specifically calls out the reduced weight from its forged alloy frame for discreet carry. Here's where the truth gets exposed. Most best pistol lists ignore the part where you have to live with the gun. The P01 was built with reality in mind. CZ highlights the decocker and the concept of hammer-down carry with a heavy first pull, followed by lighter single-action shots. That's a system designed around safe handling and practical use, not just feel good on a bench. And if you want the deeper credibility angle, the NRA's American Rifleman piece describes it as created at the request of the Czech National Police, and mentions a demanding performance protocol. That origin story matters because it explains why the gun feels like a duty tool, not a boutique project. The trade-off is the same one we talked about earlier, but this time it's wearing a suit and acting polite. SADA asks you to be intentional about the first shot. If you're willing to train it, The P-01 becomes one of those sell everything else pistols for a lot of people. Now we're down to number 2, where CZ basically tries to give you shadow performance without forcing you to carry a match gun like you lost a bet. Number 2. CZ Shadow 2 Compact. The CZ Shadow 2. Compact is for the shooter who wants competition manners in a package that can plausibly be carried every day. CZ lists a 7075 aluminum frame and puts the weight at 30.7 ounces plus or minus a hair. That's the whole story in one number. It's not tiny. It's not featherweight. It's a serious gun that you can still live with. CZ also describes it as optics ready with a mounting interface compatible with CZ Shadow 2 OR models. And importantly, the way CZ frames the whole thing is basically, you want the shadow feel but carry friendly. That's the exposed truth in 2026. A lot of shooters want one gun that feels amazing on the range but doesn't punish them for bringing it along all day. This is the one where you'll hear people say, "That's too much gun for carry," and then you see their range footage, and it's all slow fire. If you actually shoot fast track, a dot, and care about recoil, return, the compact makes sense. If you want maximum concealment and minimal clothing, you're shopping in a different category. Trade-off time. Performance pistols are temptation machines. You buy the gun, then suddenly you need every accessory. You don't. Set it up to carry and train. Keep it sane. And now we're at number 1. The gun that exists because CZ finally listened to the loudest truth in the market. People want shadow performance, but they want it built around daily carry from the start. Number 1. CZ Shadow 2 Carry. The CZ Shadow 2. Carry is the title of this video in physical form. CZ calls it born from sport and tailored for everyday carry. And they didn't just slap a name on it. The frame is 7075 aluminum, and CZ lists the weight at 900 grams plus or minus a small tolerance. Here's the part that matters in 2026. CZ describes an innovative optics-ready interface that uses the Shield RMSC footprint, so you can mount a red dot directly to the slide without a plate keeping the optic lower. That's not internet hype. That's a real design choice that affects presentation dot acquisition and how tall the setup feels when you're drawing and settling. And the real-world performance receipts are there too. Outdoor Life's test recorded 5-shot groups at 15 yards and reported an average group size of 1.34 inches across 5 groups. That's the kind of boring measurable result that makes this gun land at number 1. It's carry-focused optics smart, and it still shoots like it has shadow DNA in its bones. So here's the truth finally exposed. Best CZ pistol is a trap question. Until you admit your role. The reason the Shadow 2 Carry wins is because it's built for the role most people actually live. Then it brings the performance to match. That's the list. If you're watching this and thinking, cool, but which one fits my life? Congratulations. You're already smarter than half the comments. Drop your CZ pick in the comments and tell me what role it actually has. Carry home range or matches. Hit like if this saved you money, subscribe if you want the 2026 setup guide, and share it with the buddy about to buy the wrong one. Stay safe today.